Good day. So at the end of my last session, I was setting up the translations and found a couple of little issues with the library that I picked. And so over the weekend, I raised a couple of PRs on the library. So let's go to this one's website actually. So G18N, just so on this library, it was just a couple of little README fix-ups where it was using slightly wrong formatting for this link. I think it was using a dash dev, and then there's a couple of little examples. And I just raised a little PR to fix that up. So I think it was this. It was using a assert with an OK, and it doesn't actually return a result. So I fixed that. And it looks like Renatellus has merged that. So that's my PR merged, which is nice. And then on the dev library, which is where you generate the translations, I found that if you had a translation file, JSON file, which I should be able to show here, let's pull this up. Yeah, so this file here for me, source front-end translations ENGB, it was creating its translation functions in translations.gleam with an uppercase GB, and that meant there was an invalid function name. So I raised a PR for that. Let's see if I can see it. Yeah. She's merged this. So all I did was put in string lowercase in a couple of core places where it's just concatenating the locale code with a function name part. So I just put a lowercase there. Could have maybe done it in some other places, but it would have been, I would have had to mess about with a few variables and things there, and I didn't want to mess things up, so I made it just as simple as possible. So that's cool. It hasn't been released yet, I think. Let's just check. No, it doesn't look like it. So I can't actually properly use that just yet, but once that's released, I will be able to. So I will. So I tested my changes here in my snippet expander project, which I'm converting to use Gleam on the front end for the GUI. So we can see, if I just go into the source, front end, translations, it's got properly named functions now, ENGB translator, GB locale, and then the one we use the most down up here, translations. This is all the translations which are generated from the well, I could probably redo that just now. So before I do that, I'm going to do a little test again before I actually commit this, but with some small changes. So if you look at the Gleam TOML, I'll just read it actually. Oh, I can't type today. So I made a mistake when I first added this library, dev tool. I'd originally just added it as a dependency accidentally. I hadn't done a dash dash dev. I did the Gleam add. So when I was trying to create the PR and make sure it worked and all that kind of stuff, I was able to correct that by doing a Gleam add dash dash dev, for the G18 underscore dev. And you can see that put that here, and then I just had to change it so that it used a local path to where I've got my checkout of the library and then where I make my changes. So what I'm going to do is revert that in a second, but I'll just quickly show that it does work. If I can remember how it is. So I think it's like Gleam, run. What's going on? G18 and slash dev generate, and I've got nested. Hopefully that'll just work as is. Yep, and that seems to do the thing. So if I then look at the translations, hopefully they're correct. They are. That's good. So that worked. So that was my little test. I used that as my guinea pig when I was fixing up the library. But until that's released, I don't want to check that in as a local path. That's also not going to work. So I'm going to just revert my little Gleam. What I'll do, I'll take out that comment. And I'm just going to do a little test. I'm going to do Gleam, I think it's remove. I'll just do a quick help. Yes. Gleam, remove G18N underscore dev. Let's see what happens. Okay. So if I look at the TOML again, cool, that's taken it out. And now I should be able to do Gleam add --dev. Got to remember that because this is a dev tool as such. G18N underscore dev. Great. If I go to TOML, there it is back. Now I'm not going to run it anymore. I've generated the translations I want, and they should still work without me doing another run of that generation of the translations file. So all I need to do now is make sure it builds and works. Actually, I'll set up the project sec. So project sec, and yeah, I'll just do a make. We'll see if that works. Okay, that seems to be okay. And then I should be able to run build bin snippet expander GUI. Oh, I need to actually make it show the translations. So I'll just stop snippet expander. So it should come up with the warning. There we go. Could not connect to the snippet expander. So it's working, which is great. And I'll leave that turned off just now because for the next thing I want to do. Right, so that's good. We are ready to rock and start the next piece of work, and I'll just check all this in. Yeah, I can leave the file name, the nested JSON, okay. Everything else should be good. Let's just do a quick git diff. So we've added the two libraries, and packages have all been put into the manifest. And then the only real changes I made there was just to import those new translations, the G18N library, and then actually just use it. So I'm just pulling in those translations, translator, and then just using the translate function. Looking for no connection, so that's working. Cool. All right, let's do that. Q18 package translations. That should do. Cool. And I'll push that, and we'll see what happens on the build. I'll have a check later. Hopefully that should be okay. CICD. All right. Okay. Next thing. So, in the real snippet expander, when I don't have the Daemon running because I just stopped it, I also get this. It looks like snippet expander is installed. Do you want to start it? Obviously, it has to do a check to see whether snippet expander is installed and all this kind of stuff. So that's what I want to do next. Once I've got those two there, I can then crack on with the rest of the actual, just filling out the actual functionality. So what happens is I'll just do it here. This is going to be the fun bit because I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I can start it in the background. It just causes a little thing on the Go back end of this GUI, which just kicks off the Daemon, and then it's up and running. So let's see if we can work out how to do that. Okay. There's going to be a couple of things I need to look at. Okay, well, we're going to need to do this. We're going to need to call to the back end. So let's have a look at actually thinking about where am I? I'm in something. I don't want to be there. I want to be able to move around while I'm in the event. So, okay, I should probably work out probably have 2 tests to do. So let's look at app.go. So we have this Daemon installed, and then we have the Daemon start Daemon. So what I'll need to do is call into this backend function on the Go side, which is and Wails generates this IPC JavaScript that I can call. So I need to just call this, and it's just going to return a bool, which is nice. And then on start Daemon, okay, we get errors. Or nothing. Okay, that's going to be interesting. That's a change in the way that I've been calling the backend so far. So at the moment, I'm not handling errors at all in the Gleam code. So I will definitely have to change that. But let's get to the point where we know whether the daemon is installed and can show the yellow notice. And then we'll worry about creating the bottom, handling the start and all that kind of stuff. Because we haven't got a huge amount of time today. Okay, so what we're going to do, we need to basically do the same as this Daemon running, because that is a bool as well. There's something in me saying, why aren't you like turning this into like a pattern I can use over and over? So what I could do is I could create a new function called call or call IPC or something like that, and pass in the function, the external function. So I could have it, so I could say call bool IPC or something, and then string or whatever else I might have as return stuff. And then not have to duplicate this over and over again, because I can pass in the function that's then called in this kind of area here, and then we could do the little catch and that kind of stuff. I think maybe that's something that I can do later. I can refactor later once I've got the pattern down. I think I'll hold off. And we'll see how it goes, and maybe get some tests in before I do that, so that I can do the refactor with less worries. So I want here to handle daemon installed. That's the question. So JS is daemon installed. And here, and I should have done a little search replace, but anyway, done. So that's the setup, the function that does the asking in the backend. Simple as that. It's simple is daemon installed. It calls the JavaScript backend through the external function. And now we need to give it some sort of message to emit and say, hey, here's your result. So back up here, I've got here's Daemon running bool. Let's duplicate that. And then I'll just do it manually. Daemon installed. And now we need to handle this here. You can see that this case statement is saying, hey, you haven't dealt with all the different types of messages yet. And I'm basically going to do the same here. So is Daemon running? I will have is Daemon installed, calling that and emitting a Daemon installed. And then when we get that Daemon installed message, we will get some sort of result. And then maybe start timing. Now I don't need to do that. All I'm doing after that is adding something to the model, which I'll have to get to in a sec. So actually, let's do that now. So before I do that, in the model, we have Daemon running. I want to now also have Daemon installed. There's a little bit of information to throw around. Daemon installed. Okay. So now I should be able to take these, actually 3 lines. I'll just change it. So I'm going to change running to installed. And that didn't work. Why? What? Running installed. Oh, oh. Let's put a comma there. That will do it. And then I want to change the lowercase version of that as well. Right, so is Daemon installed? It's going to call is Daemon. Sorry, why did that not change? Weird. Okay. Is Daemon installed? Is Daemon installed? Returns Daemon installed. And then Daemon installed itself captures that value. And then I'm just going to put this back up here because all I'm going to do is update the model here. So I will have a tuple, which is the model being updated with Daemon installed. Daemon installed, and then I don't want an effect. I don't have anything else to do after that. Oh, realized here it's telling me that when I was trying to create the initial model, I didn't give it the right values, which is good. So Daemon installed false until we know otherwise. Yeah, that's fine. We only need to do the check when we need to do the check. So that's what we've got to sort out. When do we do this check? So at the moment, so if I run this, it's not going to do anything. Compile that, which is good. Of course, right, let's just stop the Daemon. Right, okay, we've got that. Now I need to show something. Oh, I need to actually do that check. So I need to do it in here, I guess. What can I do here? So I need to basically have these two. I need to have this. Followed by this. So I'm just going to do an array. And then close. I'm doing this all in reverse, really. And then it is going to be a HTML div, I guess, to group them. And then what's my translation? It's going to be oh, did not mean to do that. Let's get the browser one, it's easier. Okay, in here, I could just look in the translations, can't I? So let's just look for running. Oh, no, installed is what I want. So Daemon not installed is one I've got. I'll have to sort that out in a minute. And then Daemon is installed. Okay, just those. Okay. Hold on a sec. Not. I'm just installed. Okay. Right. Let's just do a quick test. Make sure this kind of works. So, Daemon. Let's just do installed. I'll just change this to a warning notice. And we'll see what that does. Compiled. Right, okay. That's what I was worried about, the div. So is there another way of doing a grouping in Lustre without a container? Doesn't look terrible actually, but that's not what I want. I do want him full width and able to be padded out, stuff like that. So what do I do there? What did I do in the old one? I think I used a svelte fragment. So I need to see if there's something similar, I think. Anyway, let's double check. So we have starting a notice. That's just a simple notice. Just a screen, okay. Yeah, it's just raw into the screen. Okay. So that would be as if I passed in multiple elements here into the screen. Can I do that? What I could do could I pass back? Could I pass back an array? When you look at the docs for takes a list of elements. That could work. It could work that I have the screen takes elements can't do Gleaming. Let's do that. And then I take this out and just pass in elements. So we're just sort of creating that list a little bit earlier and passing it into the screen. And then in both main view we now need to return a list, and then also in the other one as well. So here Is there... Is there a neater way of doing this than I need to look at the docs back, because can I generate that? Well, that won't work. It's advanced. Okay. Okay. Can I... Let's just go... Okay. So go to the top. I'll just do contents. And then lists. Have I got... Okay. Well, I guess I can just try. Do I need the div? I do need the div. I do need a wrapper. So can I just do this? Alright. And then the notice view. Need to do the same. And then oh no I don't. Notice view, that's not what I want. It's the Daemon right. Get a little bit type happy there. So then in here, get shot of HTML. Just do that. So the two main views, well, no Daemon running view and main view, are just returning a list of other views, which I can pass into screen view. So let's make that views. Okay, is that going to work? Seems so. That reformat okay? Yeah, cool. Right. That's better. Neat. Okay. Now let's just do that quick test. to see whether the daemon is actually installed or not. So that will be I'm probably going to want another subview actually. So because it's going to have a little bit of logic, come back with the notice. So we'll have what we're going to call this Daemon installed view. And I do want the model this time. So that's going to change in the no make daemon running if I use that as the Okay, I might change things up a little bit in a sec to give me a little bit of flexibility on the screen, on the main entry point. Anyway, we'll get to that in a sec. So here, yeah, I might change this up. So this is not a list anymore. This is a single. And all I'm going to do is call. So let's get rid of this. Oh. So we'll do a case. Is Daemon installed? And hold on a minute. Do I have any arguments to that? No. Oh yeah, the message. So based on that, we're going to do a daemon installed message. Okay, I don't need to do that. Well, yes I do. That's the only way I can get the data out. Oh, that's a pain. Promises. Okay. It would be nice if I could just return the boolean, but I do need to convert the promise to an effect so I can handle it. Okay. What we're going to do there then. could chain. What I could do, so instead, right, let's just look at the model. So if we go model, Daemon installed. So based on that, we could do right, this is going to get a little bit messy here, but it will get cleaned up later. I'm just doing a test. So here we can say it's true. We can do the notice view. Notice. Right, hold on. Let's get rid of this. That is what we want. And then here, let's do the false. Oh, not installed. This will get refactored because we can easily just obviously swap in the right translation and then do the botany thing at some point. But we'll get there. So we've got the model daemon installed, which is going to give us the view, sorry, notice view, of which has yes is installed or no is not. Which is fine. And then could emit stuff later. So we might have a button in there that's then going to go, hey, go install. Sorry, go run. That's what we'll be doing. It's not running. It's true. View to display whether Daemon is installed. I'll do. Yeah, I'm going to take that out. I'm not going to have a list there anymore. I'm going to get rid of this. And I'm going to do the same, actually. Oh, I can't do that. Don't need to. That's fine. Okay, so up here, if we don't have the daemon running, we do a list of no daemon running and what did I call the other one? Daemon installed view with the model. Okay. So that should pan out now. I might end up not making that list either, but we'll get there. So maybe, let's see. We have Daemon installed. Yes, no. We have Daemon running. So no Daemon running. Okay, so in theory that works. There's no diagnostics, is there? No. Okay, so that still works. Let's do something daft. So, which something expand that. Ooh. Use a local bin. I'm just going to do a real rough test here. Use a local bin, step expand D, use a local bin, step expander D, Z. Okay, so now, in theory, it is not installed. It will not be able to be found. It does not look like the required snip expander daemon is installed. Yay. Okay. Now let's reverse that. Get it easier for you to see me do this. It might be clipping on my head. So now I'm going to move Z back to D. Then run it. Oh, of course, I haven't done a test. Right, that's where the problem is. Right, I need to do the test. So, right, rapidly running out of time. I've only got a few more minutes before I usually get started. But, okay. Here's Daemon running. Maybe start timer. And then the tick. That is a problem. What I was thinking of doing was, after doing the Daemon running check, then doing the is Daemon installed. Hmm. The whole reason that I do the timer start after it's Daemon running is so that I don't get like 5 seconds of um, not knowing whether the Daemon's up and running yet at the beginning on the start up. Hmm. So what can I do? I only really want the one timer. If I do that, what I could do is if I need to do both tests. I was just thinking there, maybe I could do a switcheroo in handle tick, where it's just checking whether it's installed before it worries about whether it's running. That's problematic though, because it could take 10 seconds then to see a change. Okay. I kind of feel like I need a compound message. What can I do to just quickly check whether this is working? result here. Going in. To maybe start timer. And then based on that, updating the timer and starting it. Good. If the timer is already running, we could then do the check, but it's late. What I'll do is, right, let's just do a quick test. Let's just do I don't know what to do here. I'm going to have to think about this one. I've run out of time. Oops. Ah. Okay, that's fine. Right. Yeah, I need to think about this. I'm going to have to find a way of doing multiple tests at the same time, really. Or maybe compounding them together. That might be the answer. I have to think about that. Anyway, I'm getting pinged, so I need to go. So until next time, you take care.